Alright. This was something I didn't plan out too much ahead. Because my New Year's plans in general, I'm actually going to be working tomorrow morning. Real unfortunate shift that I was assigned to. So I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to be doing anything for New Year's Eve this year. I didn't really make any plans to go do anything with anyone because I didn't want to be out too much and then come home and not have enough time to sleep. For now, I'm thinking I might try to go until midnight and then go to sleep and get ready for work. I'm not 100% certain I'm going to do that. I might cut it earlier than that. Hopefully. Listen, maybe there's more traffic in my complex. I don't know. Maybe there's more traffic in my complex. I don't know. Hopefully, this connection. A connection quality thing. And at some point I am connection quality thing. And at some point I am trying to set up a Ethernet connection instead, but what else am I really gonna do on such short notice? I'm gonna start getting Age of Mythology booted up, and hopefully the connection won't be so sporadic. Something I'm gonna try to do to help. I'm gonna stop screen sharing. Oh wait, I'm already not. Okay. I'm gonna boot up Age of Mythology now. Okay, looks like Restream is properly overlaid on my game. That's nice. I don't know if I really need to do a... Might as well. Just in case there's anything I'm not as familiar on. Okay. Let's see if this is 2 baby bones, then I'll just go straight to the camp.
Age of Mythology is a game of heroes and monsters, mighty armies and epic deeds. Lead your culture through the ages, from humble beginnings in a small village to mighty citadels protected by the power
I remember
of the
all
gods.
this. Like, this is coming back to me. I remember seeing
Tear
this.
down the walls of Troy. Battle giants in the frozen wastes near Midgard. And fight armies of Anubites in the shifting sands of Egypt. The gods, as a token of appreciation, may someday reward you with great earth-changing powers in Age of Mythology. Today, your task is a simple one. The hero Arkantos has sailed to an island far from his home in Atlantis, seeking the Cyclops. The slaying of this mythical beast will bring great glory to Arkantos and his hunters. But before we
Those
take on the
models are so
mythical
low
creature,
poly, I
we
love
must
them.
learn how to march. Good. Now right-click near the blue flag to move along the path. If you're ever unsure about what to do next, check the Objectives banner. Click the flashing Objectives banner to see your current goal. Here come the other Atlantean. Move your mouse to the top. Drag a box around our Well done. Right-click the ground near the next flag. All of the hunters are now selected and will move in
It's going through all the voice clips because I know how to do an RTS. But something I was gonna say is, I was looking at Steam reviews for this game, and apparently one person was complaining that they broke the campaign levels. I'm gonna try to stop talking over her.
Right-click the flag where the trail continues beyond the black area. The men will move forward, revealing the path as they go.
Okay, what I wanted to say is, it sounds like some of the campaign levels, according to this reviewer, are kind of bugged. And if you're not doing easy, they give the NPCs infinite resources so you can never keep up, and it just becomes broken. And I remember streaming this game like 5 years ago and having surprising difficulty with some of the levels, so I wonder if that was true? If that is the case, then I might do this game on easy if that's the only mode that's not broken. We'll see. Because I would have liked some challenge, but if it's just straight up busted, then I don't want to have to suffer through it. I'd probably rather go easy than just busted difficulty.
Excellent. Continue down the path to the next flag. Notice the diamond-shaped window at the bottom right corner of the screen.
Yeah, it's all very basic stuff.
This is the mini-map. The mini-map shows you where you are and also places you haven't explored yet. Left-clicking on the mini-map will instantly move the view in the main game window.
Look there, the Cyclops.
To attack, when you're ready, continue down the path and seek out the Cyclops.
There's a lot of dead bodies along the way. Some environmental storytelling there.
Again, the gods bless us.
Okay, so it was basic as hell. Learn to play. Okay, gather resources, build buildings, I know that. Yeah, it's all basic stuff. I think I'll try it with moderate, and if I get to a point where it just becomes too much, then I'll go to easy. I am also curious about Age of Mythology Retold, because I was watching my sister's fiance Dylan play it, and it looked quite interesting. Maybe I'll get through this game and then try out Retold.
That looked like Theris. It has been a long time since you sent him to the underworld, Arkantos. Fighting old battles again?
Yes, old enemies. I still see them here.
You have won more battles for Atlantis than can be counted, faced opponents no other man dared fight.
That was long ago. Today, Atlantis' enemies live only in my dreams. I face feeble pirates now.
Doesn't have enough challenge.
Atlantean? Atlantis still has enemies, and you are still the one who will face them.
Any who threaten my home or my family will...
These are enemies unlike the guard down. Dark times are coming. You are needed.
Admiral, sir. We should reach Atlantis soon.
Excellent. It will be good to see my son Castor again.
I remember some of what happened in the storyline of the campaign, but like some of the more subtleties I did not pick up on as a kid, like, oh, there's no good enough challenges anymore. Face them all. There's no real challenge. I only face pirates. This music soundtrack is so nice, and I love the brightness of the Greek aesthetic.
Lord Poseidon's displeasure is clear. We must help break the siege at Troy.
Troops we send now will be lucky to arrive before the fight is over. Even if they do, their only task will be to show the banner of Atlantis, not a task for an admiral.
It would shame Agamemnon if we sent one of your junior officers. He already complains that we do not pay enough attention to the Greek colonies. No, it must be you.
What in the name of... Castor, stay here! Get those Petropoli up here.
The Atlantean army is on the way. Defend the harbor until they arrive.
Arkantos is a hero, and very effective at killing myth units such as the Kraken.
Okay, let's get him in there.
Well done. We should prepare ourselves for more attacks.
Yeah. I think maybe... Okay, we can't make any naval units, it looks like.
What you playing, son?
Who's that? Is that Eden?
It be.
I am playing Age of Mythology. I did not really plan ahead for New Year's because I actually have a shift in the morning, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna stay up, and I'm still not fully sure if I'll stay up until midnight. So I didn't really plan.
Yeah.
I didn't really plan anything with anyone. So I kind of decided, you know what I'll do? I'll do a New Year's grab bag. I'm starting out with Age of Mythology, and I'm thinking maybe I do it for like maybe an hour or so, and maybe I'll stick with it, but maybe I'll move on to something else and just kind of get a little bit of sampling of a few of my personal favorites or something.
Yeah, sure, it makes sense.
Yeah. If you want, I can screen share if you'd like, or...
I mean, I am currently on my PlayStation, so
okay.
I cannot see your screen. I was thinking about just jumping on through my computer, but I've been, I got the RoboCop game that came out a couple years ago for Christmas, and I've been kind of chipping away at that, and I kind of want to keep doing so.
That new RoboCop game, that one's looked like it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually really fun. I don't know if you heard of or played Terminator Instance, but it's by the same people. It's peak modern Eurojank. That's the best way I can put it. It's very glitchy. It's very unpolished, but it's got a lot of heart and soul, a lot of attention to detail where it really counts. Like the level design and the just the general aesthetic is really nice. Lip sync is terrible, and it might be a little corny in places, but it's also just like genuinely hilarious, and it's very mechanically sound. Like you're very slow and lumbering in your movement, like RoboCop would be, but you have a ton of like interesting abilities. Like exclusive to the character, of course, where, excuse me, I just finished eating, and I'm drinking a little bit too, so, But yeah, no, I mean, just the ability of being able to like grab like some druggie by the neck, and then you can just chuck that motherfucker like 30 feet, and like throw them like into other people. Like they eventually start like you're dealing with a biker gang, and you can actually pick up the motorcycles and throw them at people. It's like, oh, this is fantastic. It's very, very funny, and it really fulfills that power fantasy while having a lot of the kind of that RoboCop police stuff, and it retains a lot of that Reagan era satire as well. There's radio ads for children's sleeping pills, and you have like severe diabetes warnings on posters for kids cereal, and there's like talks there's all sorts of like kind of socioeconomic talk that's really funny. You have drug dealers that are talking about the economics of like selling under manufacturing cost, and like holding up a drug dealer at gunpoint about that, which is really funny. Yeah, and I would really recommend it if you like RoboCop. I think you would really enjoy it. It's quite funny.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, Oni Plays and Thor High Heels covered that game, and it looks pretty interesting.
They both did. That's really cool. I don't think we've ever talked about Thor High Heels before. He is, or they. I'm not entirely sure. I know they're pretty presenting at times, but like Thor High Heels is definitively like my favorite YouTube channel. Like I love their content, and it's like them and Stop Skeletons from Fighting were kind of like really the two channels that I always kind of appreciated low budget, kind of, I don't know what otherwise crummy games, but those two channels in particular just like really opened up my love for like low budget trash.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't always kept up with his videos, but I really appreciate their perspective and some of the things they've gotten me to, I don't know, kind of realize in games and stuff.
Yeah.
I love their distinct aesthetic and how they really just unabashedly champion and talk about the kind of stuff they like.
Yeah, weird stuff, interesting stuff, and I'm very much appreciative of that. Like, don't get me wrong, I play my fair share of AAA dribble here and there. I am a Call of Duty player, but man, like they are, they have a very interesting kind of perspective on things, and again, like really did help like kind of open my eyes a little bit more to like goofy ass games, weird games, what people would consider bad games. Like, I don't know, I guess if you threw this game in front of like a mainstream reviewer, they'd be like, ooh, you know, 5 out of 10 or what, you know, like, hey, it's got some bugs, and I've had some performance issues where I have to like reload a save because for some reason frame rate just permanently tanks to like 15 frames a second.
That's one thing.
That,
that's one thing. Like yeah, your graphics and stuff can be a little wonky, but like game stability is something that matters a lot to me. Like if you're crashing and stuff, that's something you need to work on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, thankfully I haven't had any crashes, but I have had those weird instances where like I'm loading into a new area, and then suddenly it's like, whoa, the frame rate just like totally shit itself.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, like, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. I think this RoboCop game is the very first Unreal Engine 5 game that came out, I think. So I think this is like 1.0 Unreal 5. So,
okay.
you know, it's a little iffy in places, but I mean, again, like it has it where, and I really think if you can get it as a gift like I did, or if you, I don't know, maybe like $20 or under, I'd say this is like a prime, like $20 Euro jank kind of experience. And I would highly recommend Terminator Resistance too, previous games. I think this RoboCop game is better in terms. Both of them, I think, are really good.
Yeah, Thor High Heels has made me really into what my own idiosyncrasies are, like them, but it's made me want to like really be like,
Yeah.
okay, what is Daniel? What do I like? What do I like that other people don't like? What am I gonna go to bat for? You know, try not to just have everyone else's opinions on things, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I've kind of been like that in the past myself, and where I don't know, where I just like kind of go off of the backs of other people's opinions in a lot of cases. But
Atlantean army will be here soon.
but you know, like I really like kind of help settle into my own. I don't know. I like a lot of different things, and I've kind of I don't know, accepted that, if that's the right term to put it. But like, I just I don't know, have a really good time with very specific and weird ass experiences. I've become a trippy game enjoyer while still enjoying my fair share of AAA slop. But it really has like really lost its appeal with me over the past few years, especially because I mean you've seen how the AAA industry has really just like crashed and burned and is burning through people like crazy, and
Yeah, that's why
live
I'm glad I'm
service
not working
trend
in.
chasing.
That's why I'm glad I'm not working in official capacity on it.
Oh yeah, no, my little brother really like wanted to get into game design, and he got really close to getting into a game design class at a technical college. And I thought that would have been really cool, but also at the same time, it's like, man, it's such a cutthroat industry, and like people are just super disposable in that industry. And he ended up going into cybersecurity, and I'm like, good, that seems way more stable.
Yeah. All right, go kill the invaders.
Go do an anti-colonialism, my child.
Shh. Hey, I'm being sieged by pirates. I gotta protect myself.
Hey, that's what I was saying. You're doing an anti-colonialism. You're fighting your invaders.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't catch that. Okay. Build more houses. Oh, we need more lumber. Okay, I guess I won anyway. I saw a Steam reviewer say that this expanded edition is broken on levels above easy because the NPCs end up with infinite resources, so you can't compete.
Oh God.
Which was not an issue in the original. I think I'm gonna try easy, and hopefully it's not too easy peasy.
Yes, it was stolen during the fighting. There could not be a clearer sign, Arcantos.
If it ends up underwhelming, maybe at some point I'll reinstall the original, though I may have lost the disc for it.
Time to search the Internet Archive.
Yeah, I actually, to my memory, I think I only found where the Titan expansion was, not the base game, among my CDs.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I'll switch to easy for now, because just to make sure. But if it ends up being too much of a breeze, then I'll bring it back up. Yeah, one of my favorite Thor High Heels videos was this one on Sonic 06. And then I also really liked the one on Lego Island 2.
Oh yeah, that one's really good. Have you listened to his music at all?
Not fully. Oh, no, wait, I may have listened to one album, I think, maybe.
I listened to his most recent one, and I quite liked it. But I need to listen to more. I know he did the soundtrack to Umurangi Generations, which I've
Yeah,
had that game for a minute, and I'm meaning to play it.
I was looking through Dylan's Game Pass, and that game came up, and I was like, hey, I think a YouTuber I follow did the music for that, but we didn't play it.
Got me wanting to binge some old Thor videos now.
I like the Pokemon Coliseum one too, because I also I think maybe it's got a little bit more attention now, but I felt like those games were a little underrated at the time.
Yeah, those 3D Pokemon games on the console, they've certainly had their resurgence in popularity, and obviously their street price,
Yeah.
echoes that.
Especially XD. I think XD is the pricier
Oh,
one,
yeah.
and that one is the better one. Like, Coliseum's fine, but XD is a definite improvement. I miss when games got the sequel in the same engine treatment. I did not have too much of a problem with Tears of the Kingdom doing that, because Age of Mythology got an expansion pack back when I was a kid, the Titans expansion, and it was fun to do all the new things. It's like, oh, now we got Titans and stuff. It's nice when they can expand on what they've already built upon.
Trying to think of like same engine sequels that were like, I don't know, massive like mechanical improvements and stuff. I really can't think of any off the top of my head, at least.
Usually tend to be massive improvements. I've been doing the Halo 3 ODST campaign, and that's definitely an example.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's okay, you miner, you need to build a storehouse. Build that right there.
A miner. Go to the coal mines.
And then...
No, I mean like I'm 12. Yeah, go to the coal mines.
They yearn for the mines.
The children yearn to create shareholder value.
Yeah, totally. Okay, we're gonna need some housing. Yeah, when I was thinking earlier today, I was like, I'm in an RTS mood, I think. So that's why I'm starting with Age of Mythology. Okay, what else would we want to build?
Man, RoboCop Rogue City gives you anti-corporate dialogue options. Let's go. I will not let OCP take over the city.
Okay, I gotta pick which god I want as I advance to the next age. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with Ares. Everyone at some point in their life needs to play a game where you send your units out into the Fox War.
Yeah, I'm yet to play many games like that, frankly. I've never really spent a lot of time with those kind of like big, either like real-time or grand strategy sort of games.
They were definitely one of the type of games that I was quite into when I was young.
It's never been something that's piqued my interest, but I feel like, one day I really should. Especially, I don't know, maybe I get like a a freaking like Xanax or Adderall prescription that would probably help me play games like Civilization.
Yeah, I grew up mostly with Age of Mythology, Age of Empires, a little bit of StarCraft. Zoo Tycoon is a tycoon game, not the same thing, but that's also
Yeah,
in a similar
I've
vein.
played a couple of those tycoon games, Roller Coaster Tycoon and Zoo Tycoon, and I think the Dinosaur Park one too. I would play those with a friend at his house when we were kids. I had a laptop and we'd sit in his kitchen and just play those tycoon games and obviously just wreak havoc. We never did very well, but you know, it's like, oh hey, we can throw people in the T-Rex enclosure. That's really fun. Let's oh, the wall broke. My bad.
Okay, for those of you watching on Twitch, it looks like ads are going to run in just a minute or so. So just as a reminder, subscribers won't receive ads. This content on my channel is not going to be paywalled. Want everyone to be able to enjoy it. But for those of you who do feel willing to contribute, it's greatly appreciated. Even a little bit goes a long way. I hope to be able to put whatever I get towards making this channel better. And as a way of showing appreciation, there will be incentives for those who can contribute the most in different categories. So if you want to pick what I do on this channel, feel free to shoot for being number one in one of those categories. Those will be running in just a minute, just so you guys have a heads up. But what were we just talking about? I was gonna say something to comment on it.
Just like tycoon games, essentially.
Yeah, Zoo Tycoon had. It's really cool how they did it with the expansions. They had a SeaWorld themed one, Marine Mania, and then Jurassic Park themed one with Dino Digs. So they had some real good expansions too.
That's sweet. Yeah, I've never really experimented a ton with them outside of just kind of like shitpost playing them with a buddy. And again, that's been God, a decade plus since I've played it, so
Yeah, it's some of my background. We all come from different backgrounds on what we're familiar with. Did you do much PC gaming as a kid? Because I was mainly a Nintendo gamer, but I definitely had my go-tos. Specifically, Age of Mythology and Zoo Tycoon would have been my big ones.
not really. Really, aside from Flash games, I never had a ton of PC game experience as a kid. We never had anything remotely resembling a top of the line or even like modern computer for whatever era that we were in.
Yeah.
Like when people were getting Windows 7 and shit, I was still on like an XP desktop that the family all shared. And I had a Vista laptop that I used to play Halo 2. I was like really desperate to get like my own copy of Halo 2, and I don't think I had an original Xbox. I could have bought it on that version because I think it would still play on the 360, but I never really did it. And but like yeah, that laptop I ended up putting a lot of time Halo 2 on Windows Vista in my like tween years. But that's really as far as it ever went. I never really had much until I was entering college. I went into community college for a semester and a change, and I bought a laptop for it, and it was a piece of shit laptop. I really got scammed out of it. I was like, this because I knew nothing about computer parts or anything until like within the past couple of years. And even now, I'm still not going to say I'm very knowledgeable about them, especially compared to my little brother. But I was like, oh, these games, you played the video games, right? And they're like, oh yeah, you game and blah 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 blah. And it ended up being just like absolute like piece of shit. Like maybe I'd be able, I could basically play up to like the Xbox 360 era of games, and like even then it would still be iffy in places. Like I played Overwatch at like 900p and like maybe 40 frames per second for a good minute, but you know.
Yeah, in the early 2000s, I had adequate build for gaming for my dad, but by the late 2000s, early 2010s, I was lagging behind for a while.
Yeah, and I still am. Like, my PlayStation 5 is unfortunately the most powerful hardware I have, but we got some goals and stuff I really want to work toward through the coming year. Just try to save up more money, get more things paid off, because if I can really get, some stuff figured out money-wise, it would be really cool to be able to upgrade and get a far better tower and essentially have the console replacement. Like, again, I think we've had this conversation before. I still like physical media, still like buying discs. I like having the shelf looking all pretty with all the PS5 spines and stuff. But it's the thing. It's like most of these games are available on PC. Most of them are better on PC. There are those rare exceptions, usually when it comes to the Unreal engine these days, where the console experience is going to be the far more stable one. But I don't know. I like that idea of just future-proofing stuff and being on an open platform where it's like, sure, I'm still just buying a license on Steam, but nothing's stopping me from sailing the seven seas and getting myself an offline copy as well.
I'm seeing some fireworks from my window. People are already getting in the mood for that.
Yeah, I heard some a little earlier, but we'll see how it keeps going. Here, at least.
Physical is something I'd like to. I've been mostly focusing on just like pure archival lately, but physical is definitely something I want to make a priority as time goes on. I wish PC was more supportive of physical.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it's sad that they've essentially all but ditched it at this point, but it definitely makes sense.
And their resale ability has also been harmed by CD keys and stuff in ages past too.
Yeah, for sure. I think I don't know. That is just one of the big reasons why I still at least like getting discs where I can. And, like Switch games and stuff too. It is that whole idea of just being able to be like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. Maybe I played this game a bunch. It just, I don't really care to, like, even have it as a little shelf trophy piece. I'm willing to sell it. And I've done a few collection purges over the past year, which felt nice to do, and it really kind of helped curate my library a little bit more. But I still have that issue of just like way more games than I've even like tried playing. Like I've got Christmas gifts from at least like 2019 that I'm aware of. I still haven't touched yet.
Oh, I'm sure I've got some going further back than that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I can remember at least. I know Medieval remake on the 4. I remember getting that for me for Christmas, and I still have not played it. I'm looking at it right now on my shelf, but I've never played it. I want to play the first one kind of first, but I do hear that you can unlock the original in the remake, so...
Okay, I'm gonna go siege these pirates now. I think I've got enough of an army for it. Yeah, if you hear any in the background of my stream, that's fireworks. Because
at least on the Discord end, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, they might not appear, but if you hear that kind of noise, viewers, that's what that is. Okay, they don't seem to be putting up too much of a fight. There are Anubis boys jumping around quite a bit. Okay.
Oh no, is the big evil corporation gonna gentrify a neighborhood? Not on my watch. A cab for everybody except RoboCop, Dale Cooper, and maybe Leon Kennedy. Those are my 3 exceptions.
I gotta get the Minotaur. Go after him. He's trying to escape.
Oh no, I see someone smoking at a gas station.
Bring down the full wrath of the law.
I'm giving him a ticket.
I think the game is purposefully making me walk slower so I can't fully catch this guy.
And they're like, no!
Oh, he just flung someone off that cliff.
Oh man, I almost wish I was watching then.
It's okay, I'm clipping it.
Another time, Arcanto. Your luck will end. I will let you see it. Your head will hang from my mask.
This Minotaur has a very goofy, snarly voice. I love it.
Someone parking in front of a fire hydrant? Sounds like a ticket to me.
Still favors our enemies. Load the Trident aboard the transport. We'll send it back to Atlantis immediately.
Okay, before I do the next scenario, I want to double check that I put that RoboCop game on my backlog.
It's pretty good. I don't know how much it is on Steam. I know that at least the physical copies on console aren't too bad. At least the PlayStation 5 version's, like, relatively cheap if you go secondhand.
I remember liking what Thor High Heels said about its spaces being a lot more compact and being able to be filled with detail because of that. It's something that definitely gave me a little bit of food for thought on intimate settings and the detail you can pour into them.
Yeah, I kind of like this game structure where you maybe have like open zone kind of thing. Like it's not necessarily open world where you have, you know, giant obnoxious ass space that you're just kind of like running through empty fields and stuff, but you're spending enough time in these more intimate areas that allow you to walk around and but like kind of allow you to better familiarize yourself, have more stuff densely packed into it. Like right now I have, what's really nice in this, like I'm sure you already kind of know the example, but like I'm doing the second trip into downtown Chicago, and you kind of have like this like 3-ish block area that you just can kind of like wander around, and you have like main mission that you're supposed to do in the area, plus you can also like run into NPCs that have like side missions, and then you've also got plenty of these like kind of serve and protect kind of things too, where that's kind of what I'm joking about right now, like giving people tickets and stuff. Like right now I'm stopping a guy who's vandalizing political posters, and you kind of get the choice of whether or not to issue a ticket or a warning, and I don't know, they'll at least say like, oh, you made this character angry, but I seen how it, if at all anything comes back around to that extent. But
yeah, I have you ever played Grim Fandango?
no, I really need to, man.
That's one of the first examples that came to my mind of doing well with packing stuff in a small area that you get comfortable with. My favorite chapter in that game is probably the biggest in the game, but it's still, compared to other games, more relatively packed, and you go through the areas like you'll be in the same area multiple times, but it's all interconnected in a nice way, and it's like just proper density of everything where, you know, they really maximize the use of the space.
Yeah, it's always a cool thing to see.
That game I highly recommend.
No parking from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
When you said no
Doesn't seem
parking,
like
in
it's
my
5:30
head,
to me.
in my head, when you said no parking, I saw Megamind.
No parking? No bitches?
Okay, we've got a settlement now. Now the villagers can go to work.
Those harbors are supplying the city. We must destroy them.
Okay, so we got to destroy some harbors. Okay, let's give you guys something to do. You guys stand guard. I don't know if this is going to be far enough in the campaign where I should start worrying about walls, but maybe I will. If you ever do end up getting like Age of Empires 2 or Age of Mythology or something, I'd enjoy doing a 1v1 at some point. I can teach you the ropes.
Oh yeah, I know quite a few of those have that multiplayer functionality. I don't know, throw them on the wish list. Sure.
I have a pretty old version of Age of Empires 2. I might need to get a newer version, but okay, everything's pretty close by so far. Build a dock right there. Oh, and then, yeah, we're gonna want a temple too. Get some myth units.
Oh, I don't know if I've chatted with you since I finished the Silent Hill 2 remake.
I remember you talking about it, but I don't know if you had finished it yet at that point.
No, I was definitely in the middle of it. Now at the point where I finished it, I poo-pooed on it on the internet. I got people mad at me for poo-pooing it on the internet. It was pretty funny, but yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't have the sauce, man. It's missing the sauce.
Where's my sauce?
I'm that little old lady from the Wendy's commercial asking where's the beef. I don't know. It's just very surface level and superfluous. I just really didn't gel with it much. It changes some things to a somewhat of a degree that I kind of appreciate, but it also, I don't know, it's such an arbitrary thing whether to determine if a remake is good or not, but ultimately I just kind of tire of the idea that we need to have our face up a character's ass with a third-person camera with no adjustable field of view. By the way, and throw it into this third-person camera with this very like generic like R2 L2 aim shoot mechanics. I just I kind of like just hate what the AAA version of like being modern is, and it just makes me like kind of put into perspective. It's just like if I was to take every single modern AAA horror game and you take screenshots of them all and you put them into a huge collage, like how easy is it going to be able to tell like which is which? Just like there's just so many at this point, and they all kind of do the same thing, and it just kind of like it leads to that inevitable conclusion that we usually have, where it's like it's usually that like indie and middle shelf market where the real interesting stuff is.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, I'm having a blast with this RoboCop game, and it didn't have anywhere the budget or MSRP that Silent Hill 2 had. And this is an infinitely better game. I mean, it's like apples and oranges.
Yeah, I can be okay with a
like
remake. I can be okay with a remake if I feel there's something of substance. Like, I have not played, in fact, the only Resident Evil I've truly played is 4. I've played a little bit of 1, but not much.
Wow. Play more. Resident Evil's so good.
Got Leon on my shirt right here. Yeah, I plan to do more. I just haven't yet. So I've never played these remakes, but the Resident Evil 2 remake seems really cool to me, and the Resident Evil 4 remake, I know people like it, but seemed a lot more superfluous.
I didn't like the Resident Evil 4 remakes that much, yeah, I totally like that kind of perspective that you have without playing them is exactly how I feel having played them. Where the Resident Evil 2 remake, I think it adds and changes a couple things around that helps make it stand out on its own. Where I really like, because the big difference, at least, is Mr. X shows up in both A and B scenarios in the remake, when he only shows up in the B scenario of the original game. So I like that they kind of utilize him a little bit more. And, I think there's like some additional like added things to it. It's been quite a while since I've played the original Resident Evil 2 or the remake, but there are changes and additions to it that are nice. But it's the thing is like after that it just felt really shaky. Like at least most people agree that the Resident Evil 3 remake isn't that great, and
that one seemed like just kind of rushed out. Like
it was.
It's like I know that the Resident Evil 2 remake especially was very acclaimed, but it's kind of weird to me how the remakes happened, because like in the early 2000s they remake 1, then 20 years later they do 2, then rush out 3, seemingly out of obligation from what I can tell, and then 4 was a big deal. I guess they haven't done Code Veronica because that one wasn't numbered, even though that was originally the 3.
Rumor has it that's the one that they're working on right now.
Well, I mean, 5 seems like a pretty dicey one to try to go back to.
Yeah, like, I'll be completely honest, like, again, it's been a minute since I've played it, and it definitely has a couple things in there where I'm just like, I mean, I don't have enough melanin to say if it's offensive or not, but like, it just feels weird to me.
Well, from what I heard, like some people were like, "Oh, it's not that bad," and then there was like caricatured like Bushman type units or something, and people were like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay."
That's the thing. Like a little later on, kind of like stumble upon like ancient ruins and stuff, and you kind of have some like literal like spear chuckers like running around in grass.
Yeah, that I think might not be it might not be it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like for the most part, it's fine, but then like there's a couple moments where I'm just like my eyebrows raised a little bit. I'm like, Again, I don't think I have enough melanin to really de facto say something on this, but it
It
sucks.
seems
It doesn't
icky.
smell right. Yeah, it's not passing the smell test.
Let's get some more military units.
No shit, I have someone playing Resident Evil 5 right now on my PlayStation friends list. That's fucking hilarious.
That's
That was
great.
genuinely hilarious. But yeah, no, I mean, I still thought it was an okay game overall. It's definitely better when you play it in co-op, but Resident Evil 6, that's where it's at, man. That game is batshit. It's stupid and it's bad in a lot of places, but it is also some of the most fun I've ever had playing a co-op game. Like, hands down. It's wild. It is an insane game.
That's the thing. That one got a lot of hate at the time, but honestly seems to me like
I
that
enjoy
one
it.
looks like it had some fun with it.
That game is a genuine 7 out of 10 in my opinion, and I will down. That's kind of an unpopular opinion to have, but no, I genuinely think Resident Evil 6 is pretty decent. It like mechanically speaking, it feels really good to play too. It was funny because I was playing it co-op with a friend, which obviously co-op makes everything better. I should do a single player run of the game at some point. But when I played it, like my friend and I were messing around with the mechanics, and we're like, this actually feels like pretty decent to play. You have like a decent amount of mobility. You can like you can lay down and like shoot prone and like roll around, and you've got some pretty neat like mobility mechanics behind your character with some really good like shooting as well. You have decent momentum to your sprint and kind of how the tactical side of the game works on that. It's actually quite neat, but yeah, I just think like it being a Resident Evil game and it being so action heavy, but also it's very bloated too, and I can see how that would really rustle some jimmies.
It sounded
and it
like
makes
it was
sense.
like really long.
Yeah, like if anyone like looked at me and said Resident Evil 6 is shit, I hate it, it's the worst thing ever, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, it is a little hyperbolic, but I certainly don't blame you for feeling that way. But man, it's that good Garbo, as Derek from Stop Skeletons would say. It's that good Garbo. I love it.
It's terrible. I love it.
I have a lot of games like that, man. Splatterhouse. Garbo. I love it though.
Sometimes
Saints Row games.
Simpsons Hit and Run kind of threads that line sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, for those
That is a game that. Oh, sorry.
Just gonna do a quick little reminder for my Twitch viewers that ads are gonna be running in just a few minutes. So just as a reminder, subscribers shouldn't receive any ads. I want everyone to be able to enjoy this channel for free, but for those of you who do feel willing to contribute, it's very greatly appreciated. Even a little bit goes a long way. As a way of showing incentive for those who do feel willing to contribute, there will be incentives for those who can do the most in different categories. So if you want to pick something I do on this channel, feel free to shoot for being number one in one of those categories. Okay, what were you going to say, Eden?
Just that I think we've already talked about this in the past, but I kind of have that sort of controversial opinion where I don't know. I think Hit and Run is a fine game, but I think people kind of blow it up to be a little bit more than what it is.
I think that kind of happened by accident. Like it was not meant to be as beloved as it is, and I think it is better than it was intended to be. But at the same time, it's gotten a little bit to some people's heads. But
yeah, it's like a 6, 7 out of 10 at best for me. But then like you see people that are like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, people
the best thing
on
ever.
YouTube will be
And
like, "Oh, check out this masterpiece." And I try to make it very clear that for me, it's kind of like good slop. Like that is my.
Oh yeah.
I want to jump around and collect coins as Homer. Like that's.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that's what it best serves its purpose as. Like I definitely agree on kind of that perspective of the game, because I think it's I don't know. It's just like all of the, yeah, especially the Grand Theft Auto comparisons that you hear from people, and it's just like, not really. Far more linear than a Grand Theft Auto game, because like this is the thing that always kind of like with the maps that just like I didn't realize until I replayed it a few years ago, where I was like, oh yeah, like this game is like way more condensed than I thought it was, and each of the maps are basically just a glorified racetrack without a whole lot of like deviating paths. Like
Yeah.
sure, there's like a little bit, but it's really not much. And like each map really just feels like a glorified racetrack, with a couple bells and whistles on it, but it just doesn't really lend itself into being that more like GTA like, that more like free open kind of scenario that people kind of crack it up to be. You know, to be honest, I mean, I don't know. I haven't played much of those older Grand Theft Auto games, but I don't know. It's kind of like a coin toss on whether I'd rather play those or Hit and Run. I guess so. It's like I guess that speaks to its quality. It's still a pretty decent game, but it doesn't blow my socks off like it does a lot of other people. And I guess that kind of comes with the whole territory when you play a shit-tillion games like I have. You just helps kind of build that perspective.
Yeah, and some people like just the core appeal of it being what it is, I think leads them to hype it up a little bit in their heads.
Yeah, it's definitely a victim of my and in a lot of ways I certainly agree that it is like the best Simpsons video game that we've gotten. So I can understand how it has that reputation, especially when we're looking at a not very great pickings overall. We've got a pretty mid Konami beat 'em up. That was like the last real big notable game. The Simpsons game from EA is decent, but I'm not gonna say it's fantastic. I haven't finished it, but I've played a good chunk of it, and it's all right. And then like these days, all you have is that shitty tapped out phone game, but like that's getting shut down though, from what I heard.
It kind of seems like a relic of an earlier time, to be honest.
Yeah, it definitely is. It is a PS2 ass game, and I mean that in a good way.
We need our time capsules.
Πρόσταγμα έστω. Μάλιστα. Θηρευτής. Έστω. Λέγε. Πρόσταγμα.
What?
Well, it's the RoboCop game is pretty funny. I'm with my new partner, where we're wandering an apartment complex basement where we're looking for a cat, and like there's a jammed door, and guys like, oh, wanna like I can crawl through this area, try to get the door from being jammed, and then he unlocks the door on the other side, and he's like, who knew that being small would have its advantages? And then RoboCop has this whole like a officer with a great mind but a small build is worth twice as much as a big slacker you are great, like that kind of thing. It's just funny. He has this constant like positive reinforcement that he gives to everybody, where it's just very amusing. Having like I don't know, this guy has like this like giant ass machine pistol and will just like shoot crotches like there's no tomorrow. Um, but yeah, and like he's like talking with normal people and like other police officers and stuff. He's just like this big softy.
That's endearing.
It is endearing, and again, I really that because like these guys, Teon, the company, they did a really good job on kind of capturing that detail with Terminator in that game. But when you have, I don't know, RoboCop, I feel like as a franchise has a little more of a distinct personality, and I think it allows for greater like character development and like more biting satire. So it is like a little worrying when you know it's like, oh, this like random Polish company is going to be making this game. It's like, oh, do you know if the the satire is going to go over their heads? It's going to be like a blooper thing where they're like, oh yeah, you suffer from mental trauma, you should kill yourself, and that would alleviate the pain from all the people around you. But no, like they really with this, and it is impressive. Like they really carried that love that they had for Terminator, and really just continue to excel at that with RoboCop. And yeah, honestly, I can't be more impressed considering the expectations I had for this studio. Anyway, like I knew this was gonna be rough around the edges, not necessarily polished, but it is Polish.
What a pun. Okay, I think we're at the point where I should take a little bit more active military engagement because I keep getting small siege parties every now and then. So let's try to send these guys out. We'll have villagers harvest in the meantime. Yeah, if you haven't seen the Oni Plays videos on that RoboCop game, I highly recommend. There's some bits that I just constantly had in my head.
Yeah, I watched it again yesterday. So I was playing the game and I was like, wait, I remember, like, because I've been binging a lot of Oni Plays recently, anyway, and I was like, oh, I remember I did play this recently. So I searched there's a fan-made complete series playlist that actually does compile all of them and sorts them by newest to oldest. It's very helpful. And yeah, I found it pretty quickly. And I'm sad they didn't get very far, which, I mean, that's just kind of the normal thing with them for the most part. But yeah, it's quite entertaining.
That is something I miss about the Ding Dong era, is that they would complete more games. Like, they beat Pokemon Red, but Pokemon Silver they never did.
Oh. Yeah, they did, like, Pokemon Silver, like, complete series is, like, an hour, 45 minutes or something. It's like, man, I wish they would have gone more into it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I can understand that not... Because even Ding Dong and Julian, they didn't beat every game, but, like, I wish they did more of it. Like, I feel like mostly they do it for, like, Sonic.
Oh, yeah, that is what I've been watching more recently, too, because I borrowed... Oh, I still have it. I really should get in touch with that guy again, but there's an ex-coworker who, while we were working together, he lent me his copy of Sonic X Shadow Generations, and I recently, like, played through that, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of curious. I rewatched some of the Sonic completes, because that is some of my favorite Corey videos, are him playing Sonic, are genuinely hilarious.
Yeah, those ones grew a lot on me.
Blast? Have you watched the 3D Blast video?
I have.
Oh my god, that is one of my, like, recent, like, favorite videos from them. That one's genuinely hilarious. I fucking love that edit of the little goblin Corey. He talks about dropping out of school. I'm an inspiration to all the Hulkamaniacs out there. Oh, it's fucking great. There's so many good jokes in that one. The fucking portal shit. Adam lands. Oh no, don't do that. He's another school shooter. Like, god damn it. I think we shouldn't be talking about school shooters. Oh yeah, you think? Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Adam and Corey had to grow on me over time, but I like him quite a bit now.
Yeah, Corey grew on me better. Adam, I'm still iffy on because like there are many Adam videos that I'm like, God, I can't fucking stand him. Like the Sonic Forces, I rewatched that one recently. He's just insufferable.
I think he's funny. I like him in the Sly one. I like him in the Frogger one.
Yeah, like those ones are pretty good for sure. But like I feel in a lot of cases, some of the bad ones kind of. He's doing a little bit better now that he's not like stoned all the time. But I'm like, dude, come on. Like, I'm a chronic stoner, but I can still at least like carry a conversation and not sound like fucking like dipshit all the time. Like I just partook a
definitely
little bit
makes
here,
sense.
but yeah. But it's just like I don't know. I think there's that kind of overdoing it kind of thing, and he just ended up just sounding like this like annoying like childish slob most of the time, and I was just like, ugh, I can't stand it, especially the Sonic Forces one. He ruins that series for me, honestly.
Okay, let's get back here in time. Before they do.
He does have his moments though. The Lego City undercover.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
one.
one.
That was pretty fun. That was a good one. He was really funny in that one.
Oh boy. Don't destroy my docks, please. This random soldier got left behind. Come on, join the rest. He's just sort of hanging out there.
Okay, 2.5 hours for Pokemon Silver, but still.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
And then the Pokemon Red is split in 2 parts to complete series. I think it's like 12 hours or something.
Yeah, like the first part's like 8.5 hours or something. I feel like it's long.
I recently rewatched it because I've been in a Pokemon mood. I've been
should too.
I've been checking the show out too because I haven't seen all of the show, and I've actually been surprised how charming some of the episodes have been of the original series.
That's interesting, yeah. I don't know if I really ever had much interest in watching Pokemon. I do have a lot of the manga on my little archive drive. And
I mean, it's a Saturday morning cartoon, but like I've found more enjoyment than I would have expected in some of the bits.
Yeah.
Like there's a bit where and some of it's from the dubbing, because there's a bit where they're like, oh, the teacher, this Pokemon school is violating your students' rights. Who runs the school? And they find out it's a cute girl, and then Brock's like, she could violate my rights if.
Hey, you want a jelly donut?
Yeah, jelly donut.
Yeah.
I've really in recent years been a lot more sympathetic to dubs. Like, yeah, they can do stupid stuff sometimes, but honestly, the dub people, when you've got good dub people, they really put their all into it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you definitely can do good with it. I in a lot of the subtitles when I have the option, but sometimes dubs are pretty good. But there are certain anime like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure I wouldn't watch a dub. Like they're just there's way too much in that Japanese version. It's just fantastic. The English throughout that whole series is fucking hilarious. It's just sad you don't have it. It's like half the comedy. It's just hearing the English.
Yeah. It's fun when dubbing teams can find the right balance of injecting their own fun. when the time calls for it. The Digimon dub, they're bits that kind of give me Ghost Stories type energy, where they were clearly just having a lot of fun with it. There's the ultimate villain of the first season. He's got bits where he's like, "Why do you all get the pizza while I get the crust?" and he's got like red and blue veins coming out, and he's like, "I am the ultimate evil, complete with hot and cold running water." So I appreciate a good dub that's just kind of taking the piss in the right way. Okay, I think I should train up some more guys. Oh, I need way more houses though. Hold on.
Λέγε. Έστω.
I'm with a homeless man walking around a video store. RoboCop's picking up movies, and they're talking about movies together. Very entertaining.
I'm gonna pick Dionysus as my next god, although the Aphrodite portrait is quite spicy.
Πρόσταγμα ορθός. Πρόσταγμα πάνω. Πρόσταγμα βούλωμα. Έτοιμος. Πάνω.
A hero has fallen.
Πρόσταγμα. Έστω. Ναι. Λέγε. Μάλιστα.
A hero has fallen.
Πρόσεχε. Πρόσεχε. Μεταλλεύς.
Λέγε. Έστω. Έτοιμος. Πάνω. Λέγε. Ορθός. Λέγε. Βούλωμε.
Nice. As RoboCop, I was able to talk about how derivative remakes and reinterpretations are. Fantastic.
My army took a little bit of a beating trying to siege, so I'm trying to build it back up.
Λέγε. Ορθός.
Λέγε.
It's been a long time since I've played a proper RTS. I need to get RTS pilled again, get back into the mindset.
Έτοιμοι. Ναι. Έτοιμοι. Έστω.
Okay, looks like we got a little bit of a fight.
Καλώς, εις μάχη.
Πρόσεχε. Ναι.
Ετοίμος. Βούλομαι. Λέγε, βούλομαι.
Έτοιμος.
Έτοιμος. Πάνω. Λέγε, ορθός. Έτοιμος. Πάνω.
Okay, let's put those there.
Πρόσταγμα. Μάλιστα. Έτοιμος. Ναι. Πρόσεχε. Ρητόμος.
Πρόσταγμα. Βρυτόμος.
Ετοίμος. Βούλομαι.
The enemy ship is currently glitching in the coast. It's just kind of jittering back and forth. Okay, for those of you watching on Twitch, it looks like ads are going to be running again in a few minutes. So just as a reminder, subscribers won't receive any ads. Want everyone to enjoy this channel free of any paywalls, but for those of you who do feel willing to contribute, it's greatly appreciated. As an incentive to anyone who is willing to contribute, there will be incentives for those who can give the most in different categories. So if you want to pick what I do in this channel, feel free to shoot for being number 1 in one of those categories. So those will be running in just a bit, just so you guys have a heads up. What you up to in RoboCop now?
Oh, I had my drug addict friend just confess to me that he got tied up in a plot where some like drug money was hidden inside of a VHS tape that was at that video store. We ended up getting chewed out, and he tried to escape. Ended up finding him, and he confessed to everything. And I made one of those tough choices where I decided to keep the money and told him that I'm not letting him go buy drugs with it. And he's now mad at me. And he called me Tin Man. So, yeah, it was the end of a mission, so I'm kind of off to just kind of wandering the area. Have at least one more. Oh yeah, someone is playing in the fountain water when there's a sign that tells them not to do that. Excuse me, ma'am. That's a ticketable offense.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Έτοιμοι. Μεταλλεύς.
Yeah, again, I really gotta say, I'm thoroughly impressed with this game and just its vibes and how it feels and stuff. Like, it's not again, the most polished thing in the world. Very janky, a little goofy with its lip sync, and like the beard physics and stuff are really terrible on characters. But it's all of that superfluous shit that that's just millions of dollars of polishing and labor. That's just like, I don't know. Is it really worth it? Like, I don't know. I feel like games like The Last of Us have really kind of ruined what games should like look like on average. You get games that do good, and it's kind of like, I don't know. We're in this chase for them graphics. They gotta look the best. What do you mean? And yeah,
So
I
you
don't
can
know.
re-release the same game 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. But guys, we made this game like 10 years ago. It doesn't look like a brand new game. So we gotta take
It's
significant
very
development resources.
necessary to completely, do it from the ground up for some reason.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And then we gotta do a director's cut for a game that we released, like, well, director's cut remaster, whatever. We gotta do one of these for a game that we released. Oh god, it was 5 years, right? Was The Last of Us Part 2 2019? Or was it 20? Might have been 20. It's like 4 years old. I'm looking it up. I'm curious. Yeah, Part 2 was 2020. Yeah, and then Part 2 remastered. They didn't even call it director's cut. They just called it a remaster. Smells like a Zionist game made by a Zionist.
A hero has fallen.
I'm realizing that I think I went a little too north. I was supposed to go after a dock first. I think I'm going after the wrong objective.
Someone took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Yes, indeed.
Izvoli.
Okay, now let's try to lead him out. The little ship was attacking my dock, but just got crushed. Okay, let's build up an army again.
Πρόσεχε. Έστω. Λέγε. Ρητόμος.
Έτοιμος. Πρόσταγμα.
Πρόσεχε. Ρητόμος.
Λέγε.
Πρόσεχε.
Ooh, man. What time are you going into work tomorrow? I know that you've kind of usually been a owl.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be wanting to get up about 6.
Oof. It's about when I get up in the morning.
Yeah, I don't. It's
Thankfully, I
it's
have
not my
tomorrow
preferred
off.
time, but I will. That will be about where things are at.
Yeah. To be honest, like ever since I started the jobs that I've been working for the past like 3 years, I have really enjoyed the whole early to bed kind of thing. Or I'll stay up stuff, but like even right now, 10 o'clock right now, like I may not be asleep right now on most nights, but I'm at least like in bed already.
Πρόσεχε.
I am a little eepy, just the biggest eeper. So
Keeping it up.
sleepy.
Πρόσταγμα. Πρόσεχε.
Έτοιμος. Έτοιμος. Πρόσταγμα.
Έτοιμος.
Λέγε.
Έτοιμος. Έτοιμος.
Πρόσταγμα.
Another encounter.
Oh, this reminds me.
Έτοιμοι.
I do have a truly fantastic RoboCop clip. I'm gonna send it to the. Just post it in the server, but you get the chance to watch. That's genuinely hilarious.
Okay.
The physics of the game can be quite amusing, and I was a freaking like Michael
Έτοιμοι.
completely unintentionally, and it was hilarious.
Έτοιμος. Λέγε.
Λέγε. Πρόσεχε. Πρόσεχε.
Oh, they ran out of gold.
Μάλιστα. Πρόσταγμα. Εκμεταλλεύσεις. Πρόσεχε.
Stable.
Oh, grab the guy by the neck. It's time to give him uppies. Go throw him at the ceiling. Well, uppies. Well, uppies.
RoboCop give uppies.
Bobo Bob give uppies. It is a genuinely amazing mechanic to be able to like pick up people who are shooting at you and just throw them. just send those motherfuckers flying. It does not get old, and it just gets better because like you can throw them straight into the air and they launch fucking like 20 feet up there. You can start picking up dumpsters and motorcycles to throw at people. It just
Πρόσταγμα.
it's genius.
Ναι.
Been going well over an hour in Age of Mythology, but this one level's been taking me a little bit, getting my bearings again.
Πρόσεχε. Έτοιμος. Φρυτόμος. Πρόσταγμα.
Πρόσεχε. Έστω.
Πρόσεχε. Βούλο.
Λέγε.
Λέγε. Βούλομαι.
Λέγε. Βούλο. Βούλο.
Okay, now it's time for me to try to take out that second dock.
Πρόσταγμα. Βρυτόμος.
Έτοιμο. Έστω. Ναι, μάλιστα. Καλώς.
Πρόσταγμα.
Πρόσταγμα. Καλώς.
Βρυτόμος.
The big breathe.
Yeah, I was a little tired.
Well, hey, no one's gonna judge if you head to bed.
Yeah, not feeling like I really need it yet, but
Yeah, whatever you're down for. Oh, wait, I didn't even need to go north at all. Just defeating those two things was enough, apparently. Wow, I could have done that a lot sooner. Wow. Okay, let's see. We're about nearly 2 hours into the stream. Do I keep going with Age of Mythology or do something else? That's the question. I have been enjoying this quite a bit.
oh man, I love that RoboCop just does not resist on just throwing puns everywhere. It's great. It's just even better through such a robotic voice. It's great. I can't remember the actor's name, but it is really nice that they do at least get him to reprise his role. I don't know about any of the other characters, but I think they all sound fine. Up, I can pick up a bench, and I can't fucking see anything while I'm carrying a bench. But I can pick up a bench and throw it at people. What's up, bitches? Eat bench.
Get benched.
Get benched. Some guy blew himself up. Genius.
Well, I've been really enjoying this game, but I did want to try to do a grab bag, so I think I might move on. The question is what, though?
You're just going through stuff in your Steam library, basically.
I wrote down a few ideas, but I kind of was thinking of just like, what are games that I like that I'm in the mood to just, you know what? I'm just going to play this tonight.
Mm.
One that's coming to mind is Zoo Tycoon. But I'm wondering if that might be a little too laid back.
Might take you a bit to get it all like set up, at least in terms of like getting more like, I don't know, meaningful gameplay out of it or something. From what I remember, any of those usually a little slow in the, but like,
Yeah, it's a pretty low key game. That was like a kind of game we'd play on a Sunday for a couple hours. So
yeah.
that was like an impulse thought, but I was immediately kind of second guessing it as well.
Bobo Bob give uppies. Throw a man into a chandelier. Genius.
Also considering maybe a collectathon type game. I think whatever games I do play tonight are games that I'll try to come back to soon on my stream. It's like the grab
Yeah.
bag is a little bit of like, here's a bit of a sampling of other games I like that'll be in the future. Because Age of Mythology, I think, definitely is going to be one I want to come back to. Like, as much trouble as I was having figuring out, getting my bearings a little bit, I was having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, and something big like that, I feel can really help lend itself to being able to, talk and kind of create stuff on top of it.
Yeah, it's interesting though. The last time I tried streaming it, I had it on a harder difficulty, and maybe it was part of what that one Steam reviewer was saying about things being broken. I kind of got a little too lost in the details and wasn't able to like be as talkative and stuff.
Yeah, that certainly makes a lot of sense. You have to be like super invested in it, essentially.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw out a few names, and I want to see what you're thinking. Sounds like could be fun to try to do for an hour.
Okay.
Okay, Ratchet and Clank, Katamari Damacy, Banjo
Ooh,
Kazooie. I was kind of thinking maybe Fallout New Vegas or Fallout, but I'm not sure about that.
yeah, those take a minute to
To
get
get
up and rolling
into,
with them.
yeah. I'm
Katamari is
also
really
kind
damn
of
good. I love Katamari Damacy. That's a really fun game.
Yeah, I love that game. I think I never beat it because I did do the level where you build up the moon, but I think there might be like a credit sequence I never got. So
Mm.
but and it's also been just long enough that I'm down to revisit that one. Yeah. Spyro 2 is another one. I started it a few times a few years ago. I beat Spyro 1, but I haven't beaten Spyro 2.
I'm a poser with that series. I've only played the reignited version of those games, but even then, dumb. I've only beaten the first two.
Mm. I've also been kind of wanting to give a go to Donkey Kong 64 because, like, it does seem like to have some padding, but I kind of feel like that game's been getting a little too dogpiled lately, and it looks like there's some charm to that.
I'd be curious to try it for myself at some point.
Another one I was floating was doing some of this, the Brawl Subspace Emissary, but I think that might, I'm not as sure about that one right now. And then Sly Cooper, that's another one I was thinking of. Anything jump out to you out of those names I pulled?
Katamari. The rest of them, frankly.
Katamari is the one you think the most?
Yeah, I freaking love that game.
Yeah, it is a favorite of mine. Okay, I think I'll try to set up some of that. Maybe do about an hour of Katamari and then perhaps consider something else if I make it to midnight. Let me get my PlayStation controller. There it is. Okay, for those of you watching on Twitch, we're doing a little bit of a switch over. We've been doing Age of Mythology, and now I'm going to try to get some Katamari going as part of this little New Year's grab bag. But also, ads are going to be running in just a few minutes. So, just as a reminder, subscribers shouldn't receive any ads. I want this channel to not have anything really paywalled, but for those of you who do feel willing to contribute, it's greatly appreciated. A little bit goes a long way, and I hope to show appreciation to anyone who is willing to contribute by offering incentives for those who are able to do the most. So if you want to pick something that I do in this channel, feel free to shoot for being number one in one of those categories. But now, let us get Katamari set up.
Oh man, hey, another one of those nice tired yawns.
Okay, let's pull up the game.
RoboCop, would you mind calling my and telling them that I would? I told them this was the third this week. Oh my god. Fucking stupid. What a fun game. This dumb game.
Okay, let's see if this booting up works.
Yeah, all the chairs are physics objects. Yeah.
Gonna have to make that a little more quiet. The game's a little bit loud. Let's put it to like 60. Hey Dylan, thanks for the Happy New Year's. I've been doing some Age of Mythology and I'm trying to get Katamari Damacy working. Config video.
You revved her up. You rev up Crickish, go and bite.
Yeah, the music from Katamari is awesome. I'm a big fan of it, Dylan.
It's peak.
This microphone is a spare that Ashley had. She got a better one, and so yeah, now I have this one. That's why it's pink. I'm wondering if I just try to capture full screen.
Oh man.
Okay.
Having issues.
Just trying to get it config just right. It wasn't picking properly when I was doing trying to aim for a window, but now it's working now that I just had it look for a full screen application.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I just looked at the stream screen, and I forgot I could just pull up YouTube on my phone and at least just
Yeah, I'm
look at
gonna
a 10-second delay of what's going on.
yeah, I'm gonna boot it in full now so we can get that classic PS2.
So is this emulated, or do you have a capture card hooked up to a PS2?
It's emulated.
Okay. I just saw that PS2 boot screen and everything, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's part of it. You can have it be part of it.
That's cool.
Amidst the music, I'm somehow hearing that little opening na 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 na. I'm wondering why that's happening. Gonna have to see if there's something up with the audio. Why is that happening?
Is there some sort of like...
There's a doubling.
Oh.
That is weird. I'm gonna clip that because it's a little odd, but yeah, I have no idea why that is. And now the audio's playing. Oh well, that's because that's okay. I'm only gonna assume that I just gotta straight up like maybe shut down the emulator and bring it back up, and maybe that'll fix it.
Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
That's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, let's boot full. Okay, that seemed to fix it. Yeah, I'm just using PCSX2. Okay, that's through the tutorial. And then your dad gets drunk and destroys all the stars.
What a silly Billy.
We all have our moments, don't we, where we accidentally blow up the moon.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
Dylan, I don't know if you managed to catch any of my Age of Mythology playthrough. I'll have to show you. I was having quite a bit of fun with it, but it took me a little bit to get my bearings. But I am very much looking forward to doing more of it, and you kind of got me into it with playing it on the Xbox. It kind of made me want to go back and revisit it. It felt quite good. So you gotta fix my shit, even though you didn't do anything, little prince.
Hey son, I just totally caused a cataclysmic event. Clean it up. By rolling around a ball.
Ah, yes,
and collecting little things on the ball.
Perfect father-son bond.
Yes. Yeah, and those screens, what happens when you don't perform the way that he wants you to, and you get those
yeah, where he gets so
terrifying.
Ominous. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I had no idea that would piss them off, like, on a level, and I was like, oh my god, like, I actually got scared. I was like, ooh, oh my god, that was violent, dude.
I know it came to my attention via a slop page, but that one Beetle Moses comic with Katamari, that's a good one. I have this soundtrack on vinyl, but I've yet to spin it. I forget the name of it, but there's this one website called like Mondo something that does a lot of specialty soundtrack vinyls that I got it from.
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar. I think they've done quite a few. They did the Resident Evil ones somewhat a while ago. They also have a couple Silent Hill soundtrack releases. Rings a bell.
Yeah, they do like limited run kind of stuff, I think.
Tattoo artist be like, I'm not involved in gang shit. Literally has a gang logo like hung up on his wall.
I just saw it and thought it looked cool.
Yeah, dude. Don't mention the logbook I have full of gang members and the bike goggles and keys that are sitting on the counter too. It's
I've been
framed, man.
I've been framed, dude. I
like a sunblock banner advertisement. Sunblock, no ozone layer, no problem. Caution: frequent use can cause skin cancer.
They'll let you roll everything up with a smile. Yeah, totally. I remember one of my favorite sounds in this game is when you roll up mermaids and they go, "Ooh, what's happening?" in the most, like, gay sounding way. Very particular affect that I find amusing.
Sounds fruity, but okay. I love having an iPad baby cat who will constantly just like stare at the TV and be so curious as to what's going on. And my little cat Cricket, she's a little over a year old. She'll watch me play video games, and she's doing that right now. She's sitting on our like coffee table, staring at the TV. So funny. The cat that I had at my parents' house, Siamese, named Juicebox. She loved watching Call of Duty Zombies. Whenever I'd play that, she would always like watch zombies for some reason. Not very many other things she cared about, but 'tis amusing. Nice. I have a kid with a boombox. He's like, "Yo, do the robot dance!" And I was like, "Yeah, watch and learn." And I bust out some moves for the kid. It's awesome. Again, very endearing. I do enjoy how lighthearted it all is.
When I stream this for real, I'll have to see about getting the royal presents and cousins and such, because I only remember getting a few of those. Some of them were a little hard to find.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I haven't played a ton of Namco's late 90s, early 2000s output, but something tells me they give off a certain vibe that I'd like.
Oh, yeah, they're...
I accidentally quit. What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, Eden?
Oh, it's just, basically just reaffirming what you're saying. I'm not the most knowledgeable about that kind of output either, but, I mean, there are a few games that I've played from Namco of that era that are very fun, interesting.
For one, I really like their soundtracks. I have liked
Oh,
what I've
yeah.
heard of the Ridge Racer soundtracks. I've liked what I've heard of some of the Tekken soundtracks.
Ridge Racer in particular, I fucking love. I mean, those games and the soundtrack, all of the soundtracks are really good in their own way, honestly. And I love that they constantly kind of like swap influences, where it's like, especially between like Ridge Racer 4 and then 5, where like 4 is very kind of like jungle, drum and bass kind of inspired, but then Ridge Racer 5, like it might have a couple like bits of that here or there, but it's far more of that kind of like moody, kind kind of early 2000s, late 90s house. I don't know. Like, I'm not the most knowledgeable on EDM subgenres and stuff, but it is far more like moody, kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know the difference between like hair metal and new metal, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Where-
become more knowledgeable on EDM genres, but like I still don't fully know what separated house and techno in the early days. Like, and even now, like I'm still learning a lot. I feel like there's a lot of catching up I got to do.
Yeah, I mean, and just like any other like genre out there, you have all of those micro subgenres, and then snooty ass people who are like, actually, you're talking about post-symphonic blackened death metal, not folk grind. I don't know, post-folk grind core, whatever. Like, so
There's
dumb.
definitely some room for some snootiness
There's a huge
there,
difference.
but honestly, I kind of really like the idea of, as long as they have a use of, looking into, like, micro genres and stuff like that, and, like, how can we further categorize this, and, like, what separates this group from that group, kind of like taxonomy of animals and stuff.
Yeah.
Because sometimes one of the big labels doesn't do enough justice on separating different styles apart.
Yeah.
Okay, for those of you watching on Twitch, it looks like ads are going to run in just a few minutes. So just a reminder, subscribers shouldn't receive any ads. I don't plan to paywall any of the content on my channel. I want everyone to be able to enjoy it, but for those of you who do feel willing to contribute, it's greatly appreciated. Even a little bit goes a long way, and as a way of showing appreciation for anyone who does feel willing to contribute, there will be incentives for those who contribute the most in different categories. If you want to pick something I do in this channel, feel free to shoot for being number one in one of those. Ads will be running in just a few minutes. I love this game's art style so much.
Oh yeah, it looks so stellar.
I'd really like to
beautiful.
experiment with low poly pixel art type stuff in 3D modeling at some point. Like, I've never played it, but Mega Man Legends aesthetic seems very appealing to me. But this is also a game that I really like the art style.
Yeah, it's a really good looking game, and I really and it is nice with how accessible 3D game engines are. That quite a few, not only just like even a very small, kind of Nintendo 64 through like early PlayStation 2-esque kind of graphics.
Yeah, I want to experiment with Blender at some point, get good at PS1 kind of look, where things are a little bit more pixely and jittery, and then Nintendo 64 is a little more, not nearly as jittery, but a lot more muddy.
Yeah, the Nintendo 64 games seem to be fuzzier, while the PS1 had far more dithering on it.
I don't know how to describe the Dreamcast look, but the Dreamcast got a look. Like,
Yeah.
characters and skin have a very specific kind of texture. It's kind of a
You
little,
gotta love those.
little
sorry, I was gonna
plasticky
say,
or something.
Yeah, you gotta love those Sonic Adventure mouths in particular.
I forget. Man, I'm a little rusty on it. I think that'd be like Fong shaders, but maybe I'm just completely misattributing 3D modeling terms.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I'm certainly nowhere near an authority on something like that.
Yeah, from my days attempting to potentially get into 3D animation and game design in college, where I gave up on it because, as we've talked about, the video game industry is not a very fun one to work in, it seems.
Yep. Yep. And that's the unfortunate thing, is because, like, unless you're, you know, really working on a small scale independent company or doing your own thing, that really seems to be the only way to, you know, truly make a mark. But the unfortunate thing is, like, there's just so much competition that, you know, it's really rare and hard to kind of have that breakout hit and really make that a profitable thing for you. Because I listen to at least a pretty decent video game podcast and developers and stuff on it that, you know, not only just kind of like talk about game culture and stuff like that, but, you know, they have a lot of notes and a lot of the work that they've done on their own stuff, and yeah, you hear these horror stories of like, yeah, no, like we took so long to make this game, like we basically had like we wanted and we need like and should have released like at least like, you know, 3 years in advance, but yet we just kept taking money and like got a publishing deal and stuff and just kept working on it, and we agreed to do console versions and it ballooned the budget, so it's like, yeah, we basically made like $4 like working on this game, and it's like, oh god, it's just awful to hear.
Yeah.
And then the thing came out, ended up being a giant financial flop. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trouble.
It's really sad seeing that stuff.
Like, if you do get a position like that, just the fact that you're full-time employed for that and some of the resources you're connected into and stuff, that will give you a lot of stuff that you can't get on your own. But at the same time, I feel like I'd rather take the hobbyist route at first. Especially because, like, the management you have to report to under publishers and stuff are just some of the dumbest people making the stupidest decisions you have to follow and stuff.
Yeah. There's really no winning in those sort of situations.
Like, that's how I end up with games like Lord of the Rings Gollum, I feel. I got a little scarf.
Come along, it's time to go.
Okay.
This just in. The stars have suddenly vanished from the sky. The cause is being investigated. And back to normal. Nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, let's put on that little winter scarf. Perfect for this cold time of year.
Oh, great.
What?
We're doing a creepy mannequins thing. Oh no.
Okay, I think I'm gonna do maybe a little bit more Katamari, and then I think to wrap up the grab bag, I think I'm gonna do... I'm thinking a little bit of Ratchet and Clank. I was getting pretty far in that game several years ago, and then I lost my save data.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, so I've been really wanting to get more through the series, but I lost that progress, and at the time I was especially demoralized about that, like, no, all that progress.
Yeah, no, that definitely does a number. The thing is, I've only ever, like, actually finished the first one, so part of my 2025 backlog-a-thon, one of the games I've tried to commit myself to finishing is at least the second one.
Yeah, I've heard people like the sequels even more, but I quite enjoy the first one, so that honestly is pretty reassuring to me that there's some good games in there. I especially love the music in this level. It's got a nice jazzy vibe. As a kid, I wouldn't have known what takoyakis are, but I've had them since, and they're quite delicious.
Is that like those, like octopus balls, or am I wrong?
Yeah, they're little
octopus
balls, and they're quite hot to bite into. They're quite delicious.
They've always, like, looked interesting, but I've never gotten more, I don't know, experimental with seafood. never grew up around it a lot, so the bits I tried, I was never really too big of a fan.
As
So
a kid, I
do...
was definitely scared of a lot of different kinds of seafood that looked gross, but partially because of being a weeb, I got a bit more experimental with food when it came to Japanese cuisine, and so I've tried some things. It helped expand my horizon in general. Like, I'm quite into seafood now. And that was definitely Japanese cuisine, and sushi was a entry point into that.
Yeah, I warmed up to sushi, especially a while back.
Yeah, it's something I need to try to work to get Ashley into. She's still not super sold on it. Oh boy, get out of there. I think I may have talked about this before with you, but Katamari Damacy was like probably the first game to open my eyes to console gaming outside the Nintendo sphere. Like the first one I got really into on my own that wasn't a Nintendo console game.
That's interesting.
Because we got a PlayStation 2 actually mostly to do DDR, Dance Dance Revolution. And then I heard my classmates talking about this game, and I got so curious about it that I was like, oh, you gotta get me this game. It sounds... My classmates have been saying it sounds so much fun. And, like, its creativity and vibrancy definitely quite enthralled me. Oh no, I'm stuck here again. I think in hindsight, it was also a pretty solid intro for me to what AA gaming would be like as a kid.
Yeah. It was kind of peak middle shelf.
Yeah. Because even in the beginning, it was meant to be somewhat of a budget title. 85 centimeters. That's a pretty respectable size for this level. Royal Rainbow. Blech. I love the perspective on on the scene where you're just kind of in his hand and he's ranking how well you did on the level. I love how how janky that perspective is.
Yeah, it's quite amusing.
Bratty Star.
Mom, they said on TV that all the stars disappeared.
Oh, honey, things like that just don't happen. There's our cab now.
But that's what they said, right?
It's interesting that they dubbed these little cutscenes when, from what I've seen in the re-roll re-release, they went straight back to subtitled on them. Okay, I think I'm capping off with Katamari. And I'm gonna switch it to Ratchet and Clank. Man, I love this little title screen on Ratchet and Clank where he's just kind of working in his little hangar.
Yeah, it has a lot of personality to it.
I love, I love the detail. It kind of reminds me of how DVD menus used to have so much personality, and now no one gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Star Wars menus I remember loving as a kid, the fact that you would randomly get a different planet every time. So like sometimes Phantom Menace would open on Naboo, sometimes it would open on the pod race, and it was just like, whoa, it's not gonna be the same menu every single time.
Yeah, I kind of like remember that. Yeah.
Final step, attach robotic ignition system. Thank you for using help desk technology. Welcome to the
Love that
Gadgetron
techno
Help Desk.
soundtrack.
We are here to offer you advice during your interplanetary travels. The help desk is a free service provided by Gadgetron Corporation. You can interrupt help desk messages by pressing the triangle button. To disable help desk messages, please select options from the pause menu.
For those of you watching on Twitch, it looks like ads are going to be running in just a bit. So just as a reminder, subscribers shouldn't receive any ads. I want everyone to be able to enjoy my channel. But for those of you who do feel willing to contribute, it's greatly appreciated. Even a little bit goes a long way, and I hope to be able to use whatever I get towards making this channel better. As a way of showing appreciation for anyone who feels so willing, there will be incentives for those who can contribute the most. So if you want to pick the kind of stuff I do on this channel, feel free to shoot for being number one in one of those categories. You know, one thing I'm wondering about, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart came to Steam recently, I think. I remember that game seemed to really utilize the fact that the PS5 had solid state drive storage to really load things really quickly.
Yeah.
I wonder if that game's effects won't work so well if you try running it on a system without such capable storage.
It kind of does. Digital Foundry has some pretty good coverage on the PC port when that came out, and they did a test where they even like ran it on PS4 like level hardware, where they have like a PC build that's uh, basically at the system specs on where a PS4 is at. And I think it technically worked, but like the loading was really bad. Like you have that whole like section at like the beginning of the game where like he's like sliding or something like through like all these portals like keep popping up as he's going through like all these crazy planets and stuff, and like it's just constantly hitching like while you're doing that.
Yeah, that was something I was wondering, because, like, on the graphical level of things, I'd assume, you know, there's not as much to be worried about, but I was like, wait a second. I remember them doing crazy things with loading from what I've seen of that, and I wonder if that is something that just kind of falls apart if you don't have it just right.
Yeah, from what I remember, I do believe it kind of does.
These days, hardware is built so similar that you don't get as many very specific use case incompatibility like that, because like so many of the different consoles are all running very similar architecture and similar engines and stuff. So
yeah,
it's interesting to think about that being one of the few remaining special cases that is a little bit more contingent. It kind of makes sense why over time that's going to become less of a factor, because compatibility is, you know, very nice and keeps people from being too splintered off. But it's a little bit of a shame that we don't have as much unique format methods as we used to.
Yeah, it feels a little homogenous, but it's not entirely a bad thing. You know, I still do love those eras of proprietary game engine, you know, like where platform exclusives very much like looked and felt very different from each other, instead of just kind of being an arbitrary like, oh no, the Silent Hill 2 remake is exclusive to the PlayStation for a year, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, now
You
it's
know,
very arbitrary.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like the whole exclusive thing largely just feels arbitrary these days. So it is, you know, nice when you kind of do have that kind of unique case for something that does feel very like of the hardware. But frankly, again, with how similar the hardware is, and I think even the drive speeds are basically just as fast on the Xbox. I could be wrong, but you know, they just kind of feel like a very similar machine. It feels like, to me at least, like I feel like it'd be pretty easy to get Ratchet and Clank like running on an Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, like as opposed to like, you know, making a whole new game from scratch or something, of course.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be like, you know, it's a significant effort to port something, even on like similar hardware. Still,
as much as
possible.
it can cause its own headaches, that's something that I kind of admire about like the Wii U and stuff. Because like nowadays, it's like if you were to try to port Nintendo Land or something, you couldn't. But it's kind of nice that you had such a unique experience, you know.
Yeah.
I
do
remember,
like it.
I remember one time Jim Sterling was kind of saying like, oh, like with the different console companies now, like Microsoft and Sony, what they could do is like invest in games in ways that publishers won't like and cultivate a library. But Microsoft definitely is not following that advice lately. They're not
Yeah.
maintaining IP.
No, I mean they're mostly just kind of like buying it up and exclusivity stuff with it, which I kind of understand. With them kind of like almost becoming a Sega like figure of the industry. Uh,
It's funny because Sega and Microsoft were more connected in the early 2000s than most people realize.
it's really funny. It's really funny. Yeah, I mean there were people the Xbox, the Dreamcast too, in instances, which is kind of understandable because that is where a lot of Sega ports wound up being, and some of their best ports as well. I mean, obviously Sega, went still full third party, but there are some interesting like actual Xbox exclusives from Sega on there, like that combo pack between Sega GT and Jet Set Radio Future.
Yeah, I have that because that was the only way I could find use Jet Set Radio Future.
Yeah, it really is because the set is more expensive. I have a Microsoft Store copy of that. Yeah, that big old sticker that says like, "Hey, this was purchased on Microsoft property. You cannot resell it."
So, what does this mean to you, you might ask? Using highly sophisticated technology, which you couldn't possibly understand, we will be extracting a large portion of your planet and adding it to our new one. Unfortunately, this change in mass will cause your planet to spin out of control, drift into the sun, and explode into a flaming ball of gas. But, of course, sacrifices must be made. Thank you for your cooperation. And if you don't like it, you can take your whiny, sniveling, snot-nosed populations, form a line behind me, and kiss my... We're still on? Well, turn it off, you idiot!
The people on those planets are hosed. Well, good luck getting Captain Quark to help you.
Actually, you could help me. If you could use your ship to take me to the coordinates contained in this infobot, I might be able to gather further information there.
Even if I wanted to, I can't. I'm missing a crucial component of the ship.
The robotic ignition system.
How did you know that?
I, sir, happen to be equipped with the latest in robotic ignition systems. My programming allows me to start any ship I choose.
So, I agree to take you to this, wherever it is, and you get my ship started for me?
That is what I'm proposing.
Deal.
This could be a problem. Take care of it.
Whoa, this is great! So that's where I've been stuck this whole time.
Please return your appendages to the steering mechanism, sir.
Huh? Oh, right. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, you could stop calling me sir. The name's Ratchet.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, sir.
You got a name?
My serial number is V54296.
Oops. I'll just call you Clank for short. Hang on.
So you see, it would be most beneficial if your citizens were not in the city when my workers begin removing you.
Preposterous. I will not stand for this.
Unfortunately, you have no choice in the matter.
Let's just see what Captain Quark has to say about that, my good man. I don't see what's so funny. Captain Quark could dispatch you without even breaking a sweat, you puny.
You have now officially worn out your welcome and my patience.
This is your last chance. Stop this madness now!
Okay, wait. You're right. I will withdraw my troops.
Really?
No! He's all yours, gentlemen. Try not to leave any marks.
Clank? about that. Well, we're not leaving the way we came in.
Perhaps we can procure a ship from one of the inhabitants.
If there are any left.
Oh, I love this song too. I was quiet because I was letting some cutscenes play, but I think we're on Felden now is the planet. I'm sure we've talked before about Gaming Brit Show's video on Ratchet and Clank versus the reboot. I really love that
Oh
video.
yeah, that is a good video. I'm watching a lot. That is very scathing. Quite enjoyable.
For some reason, I've rewatched that video a few times. I've just been like, I really like that video. I want to rewatch it. And one thing that really sticks out to me is how motionless they are in the cutscenes in the remake. They just kind of stand there and don't like move around at all. And how dynamic the posing is here.
Very similar problem I have to this. There's so much like movement and deliberate camera placement that is just kind of needlessly changed, and everything just kind of feels more stale and stiff by comparison.
Yeah. One thing that I really like seeing the opening cutscene of these two meeting is how pragmatic their relationship is. Like how just like, hey, I can help you get your vehicle working, and that's how Ratchet decides, okay, I'll give you a chance. It starts off very like, what's in it for me, before, you know, it develops any further. There's one line that Gaming Brit Show pointed out that I really like, where Ratchet looks back at the planet and is like, so that's where I've been here this whole time. Like, that is such great, subtle storytelling that says so much. Like, I love how that video pointed out that, you know, this game was written by game developers, but the writing is so much more just genuinely interesting and well done than these, you know, Hollywood hacks.
Yeah.
And I don't think I usually go this way when I come to this planet. That's one thing I like, is how branching the levels can be. Another thing is, what I've seen of the way that game moves, it, like, on its own, it can kind of look a little flashy, but to play seems like a motion blur nightmare. Whereas this...
Yeah, I tried playing it, I couldn't. I played through the first level, the whole tutorial thing, and I was like, I'm feeling sick. I can't.
Because, like, it can look somewhat appealing, like, oh, the acrobaticness of how he's moving around and stuff, but, like, when I was thinking about how would that actually play, it looked pretty nightmarish to me. Whereas this game has a nice, solid frame rate, and it just flows well.
Yeah.
It's got that classic PS2 60 FPS that I love.
Yeah, I'm glad that hardware and software companies have finally realized again that people care about performance more than the, you know, full graphic sheen. And, like, people will say, like, they care about the graphics more, but it's funny, because, like, there was that whole thing, like, that presentation for the PS5 Pro, where, like, Mark Cerny was like, yeah, like, we were genuinely surprised to see that, like, over 70% of PlayStation 5 owners, like, play on performance mode, and all their available... Really? Is this a surprise? Like, I don't think so.
Because it's better to actually play. And honestly, I quite like the look of high frame rate gameplay. It's not exactly cinematic, but that's kind of the point. It's got its own
Yeah.
It's got its unique visual language, you know?
It just feels better, honestly. I can't remember the last time I guess I can remember the last time I played 30 FPS game. That would be the first Skylanders is 30 FPS, and
I
I
can
played
tolerate
that.
it if
But
needed, because like if I'm not mistaken, the Zelda Nintendo 64 games don't even hit 30 sometimes, on the original hardware. That is.
yeah, and I mean that's a lot of even like NES and Super Nintendo games as well. Like, yeah, sure they try, and but they are constantly chugging and slowing down.
Yeah.
A lot of games are designed around that slowdown, like
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Contra or whatever.
It's not a deal breaker for a game being good to have like the highest frame rate possible, but it definitely helps.
Yeah.
Cause like LSD Dream Emulator, I think is like a like a 10 FPS game sometimes.
Oh yeah. I need to play that soon. I've had that on my. I feel like that'd be.
That's been a fun one that I've bring out like every October with friends. We just kind of, all right, let's boot it up and see what we can find. And what's crazy is that even after a few years of being familiar with it, we'll have someone play and be like, I have never seen that before. What the hell is going on? Like, it still has surprises, and I'm sure some of the mystique might be removed if you learn more how the game actually operates, but that's been part of the fun for me at this point, is still not having any clue what the hell any of it is, and just kind of being like, I'm going to keep the language barrier in place and just kind of just be wowed at what this game might have to offer.
Yeah.
Did he just slide down a sewer pipe?
Mayday, mayday! This is the solar ship Radical. We seem to be under attack from the planet's surface.
Relax, kid. It looks like some sort of fireworks display. Probably in your honor.
Whoa! That was close! Ah!
Pipe down, I can't concentrate.
Oh, we've been hit!
An unexpected detour. When we land, I'll see if I can scare up an exhibition for you.
We're not gonna live that long!
Kid, let's M-screen!
Eject! Eject!
Did you see that guy on the left? That was Skid McMarks.
Does he know Captain Quark?
I doubt it. He's a pro hoverboarder, always going off about how cool he is.
Looks like he's in trouble.
I'll say. I've never seen him look so freaked out.
Gadgetron infobots give you coordinates for new planets. Now that you have the infobot for planet Iridia, you'll need to find a ship to get there.
Man, I'm no, like, proficient expert in animation, but I have done an animation course, and I really like all the little flourishes that they do in these cutscenes. They're so, like, I was paying attention to Ratchet, like, he was doing, like, a very subtle thing with, like, the way he was moving his hands back and forth, and, like, I feel like to have really good animation, you need, like, little side flourishes that might not even be paying attention on that really just sell the image of it.
Yeah, the squash and stretch of it all is very important.
You gotta exaggerate things too. Like, if you try to just obviously rotoscope, you can do crazy good things. I really love rotoscope animation, but if you try to animate like if you're not going for straight up rotoscoping and you try to animate what you think real movement is, it's gonna look weird. It's gonna look half-assed. It's gonna look awkward.
Yeah.
You need to purposefully push it a little further. And like one thing in particular that I've been thinking about lately is you don't want things to be too still. You want to find ways to have some little element of movement, so you don't have an element that's just, you know, not doing anything. And I feel like the way I see them animating in these cutscenes, they're like very much keeping that in mind. Like, okay, we got to keep this interesting to look at, and not fall into the pitfall that the remake does.
Yeah.
Where they're just kind of in a pose, and they might like raise their eyebrows and their shoulders and then put their arms right back down. Even these mushrooms give bolts. We're getting pretty close to the new year, Ethan.
That we are.
Yeah, once it comes down to the new year for real, I'll probably be wrapping up soon after that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I may as well. A little tired, but I also caffeinated kind of late tonight.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to make it this far. So. Because sometimes
You usually don't.
Sometimes the eepiness takes hold.
That it does.
The water controls are not immediately intuitive to me. I'm gonna have to figure out how these work. Going underwater reminds me of the one Gaming Brit show video where it kept doing the try as he might. Ratchet couldn't breathe underwater.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot more to this map than I knew. I don't think I've ever explored this area so in depth. Man, I'm wondering when it comes to the actual countdown. I can't think of any way to like dress it up or anything. Just, I guess maybe we'll just count down together or something. Okay, for those of you watching on Twitch, it looks like ads are going to run in a few minutes. So just as a reminder, subscribers shouldn't receive any ads. I don't want to paywall my content, but I do... Anything that people do feel willing to contribute is greatly appreciated. And as a way of showing appreciation to anyone who feels so willing, there will be incentives for those who are able to contribute the most. So feel free to shoot for being number one of those categories if you feel like if you'd like to pick the kind of stuff I do. Okay, let's open this up. Okay, looks like that's a map of... Okay. Oh, looks like I ended up back where I started.
Hi there, Fuzzball. That's a real beauty.
Not quite.
No, my game crashed.
Oh no! Hope you didn't lose too much progress.
Thankfully the saves are pretty liberal, so it's not
Nice.
shouldn't be too bad.
It's been interesting for me to think lately how auto-saving has become such a prominent thing when it was very manual saving with most of the games I had as a kid. But I've also been interested to learn how far back auto-saving goes, because I didn't grow up with Banjo-Kazooie. I played it for the first time as like a teenager, young adult, and the way it worked confused me. I was like, where's the saving? But that game seems to be pretty much just autosave is how it does it.
Interesting. Yeah, I would have thought that would have been like a manual save kind of game. I've never played it.
Yeah, it's from '98, but I think that's how it works. Is it's just autosaves after you do significant things. That's how Conquer works as well. And when I was playing that one, I was also like, "Where's the saving?" Rare was quite ahead of their time with some of the features they packed into some of their Nintendo 64 games. Oh man, we're getting to 5 minutes to midnight. 2025 approaches. All right, we're down to the final minute of the year.
Oh, that we are.
Yes, we are. Before 2024 end, anyone want to admit they have a crush on me? Nah, I don't gotta worry about that anymore. "30 seconds remaining."
30 seconds remaining.
"15 seconds remaining." 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, everyone!
Happy New Year. Wahoo, yippee.
Wahoo! So much changed. I will say though, I was giving a little bit of thought as it was counting down to 2025 that I had quite a bit of change happen in 2024 because for one, I started 2024 with a working car and it died on me in March, so I've had to go through the year without a working car.
Yeesh.
Yeah, and at the time I still hadn't entirely figured out what my plan was going to be for finishing my degree. I was still kind of it was a bit more worn off, but like in the summer and fall definitely I was dealing with a bit of crisis mode with helping Ashley figure out certain things, and now we figured out a lot more of those. I was able to get my degree. I finished my classes this in 2024. So quite a bit happened. I graduated, and now I'm going to be able to look for actual computer science degree jobs out there. Gonna eventually save up to get a new car for myself. Gonna figure out a place to get with me and Ashley. Right now we're in some contracts, but at some point we'll be figuring out getting a place together. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I had quite a bit of a change happen in 2024, and 2025 seems lined up to be quite a year of new stuff on the horizon for me.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm finally at a point where things are, kind of stable for me in terms of, like, I don't know, housing, good stuff, and
Nice.
having Mandy and the cats are really nice.
Nice. Always nice to have kitties around.
Yeah, there's definitely financial goals and things that I need to work this year for certain, and that will really help kind of alleviate burdens for me and make things easier for the both of us. So,
well, hopefully 2025 has a lot to offer us. I'm optimistic.
Try to be
cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Definitely some stuff to worry about, but at least for myself, I can say quite honestly that there's definitely a new chapter opening up for me that I'm a little nervous about, but I'm looking forward to as well. And hopefully all the rest of us can have 2025 be something to have at least some things in our lives to look forward to. But with that being said, it's time to wrap up for tonight. Save one more time. Oh, also, I need to turn on subtitles for the cutscenes. I'm used to subtitles being on by default, and I was caught off guard that they weren't. Okay. Let's close that up. That was a fun little grab bag I organized for myself. Kind of didn't give it as much forethought as I usually do for stream, but I think it ended up working well. Having some Age of Mythology, some Katamari, some Ratchet and Clank. Nice little, diverse little selection of personal favorites of mine.
Yeah, and it's fun to be able to at least kind of sample some stuff that you're meaning to get to, and hopefully that kind of leads you to. Yeah, I know. Definitely gonna push through with this one this year.
Yeah, these probably we won't get to these games immediately, but I'd like to put them pretty high up on the queue. I think all of them have some good potential for stream material.
Yeah.
So now I just gotta send my viewership off to watch someone else and get myself ready for bed.
Yep, I'm probably gonna start getting ready myself. Just got my hardest achievement to get in RoboCops. Means I'm gonna 100% the achievements in it on PlayStation. Oh wahoo! Yippee! Give me a new platinum trophy.
I think I'll raid someone who's playing Age of Mythology. Yeah, for kind of putting it together, kind of not entirely at the last minute, but a little bit. I like how the stream turned out, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing these games in the future. But anyone who is watching today, hope you had fun. Hope you consider giving a follow or something so you can check out when we're live again in the future. I'm planning on being pretty frequent for the time being. I'll send you guys on your way and look forward to seeing you guys next time. See ya.